God complex starts when they're teenagers. Literally, teenage boys will put girls in danger so that they can just save them. And then they go on to do it even worse when they are older and have family. And they become women's #1 bully in the home. To do things like take them on hikes and put them in danger, like I talk about all the time as a former raft guide and outdoor adventure leader. And seeing the way men will literally put women and children and just other people in general in danger so that they then can play the role of hero. And I just saw this happen today at the pool. I'm on vacation, or, well, vacation may be a stretch. Back home visiting the U.S., a bunch of friends and family, and we decided to decompress for a couple days to get over jet lag before we start our grand tour. And we're at a hotel. I hope you can hear me. The music is so loud behind me. And there's a bunch of teenagers here. And the boys are throwing the girls in the pool. Girls are kicking and screaming because they don't want to be thrown in the pool for various reasons. A, they may have, their period, or they may don't want to have to do their hair again, or their makeup, or maybe they can't swim, or whatever. As somebody who was thrown in the pool a lot as a teenager, and that is why I love swimming, I love pools, but I hated pool parties because I did not want to be thrown into the pool. That is taking away my consent to be wet for the rest of the day. It's also just humiliating. And to quote Cecilia Regina, who popularized the humiliation ritual of women being involved with men in marriage and stuff, this stuff is, they do this to us when we're just their friends. And we're involved with them at all. Just to be in their company means they get to humiliate us for the sake of a laugh, for, to impress the guy, in our place, so they can look better and feel better about themselves. And it's funny because as soon as we saw that happen, my husband, he goes, look at him. Now he's helping her out of the pool. The hero has now become the savior. And I was like, yep, glad you caught that right away. I swear, it's like, it's not rocket science how we end up with family annihilators. Women and children under patriarchy are just men's little toys, that like a cat who just bats things around to play with it because they're bored. Give them a sense of purpose, to own something. And especially if they were a nerd in school, right? And they're like, had a biff and they need a George McFly. Well, now they've got one in their home, not just one, but multiple ones. One that is, that they also will do endless labor for them. Cook, clean, emotional labor, be their therapist, be their just manager. And then also, do schmegdual labor. And if they don't do that, then he'll be in a bad mood. And it's like, whatever. Endless labor. Then they also have a bunch of dorks at home, their children. They can just push around and bully, feel important and feel powerful because they're all afraid of daddy and his mood and how, his footsteps, how he holds his fork, how loud he puts his cup down on the table will tell them if they're safe or not. And it keeps all of them on edge. All the planets revolve around King Baby Sun. That's a whole lot of power for one man. Imagine having all that power. So even the biggest loser can be the kingdom of his little castle. And then if something goes wrong, like he's humiliated and, gets caught doing something, no way is he going to let these people who orbit around him continue orbiting without a son. So he's going to take them all out. So just the way men have been taught to dominate and control and just move people they have power over like chess pieces on a board. And it's not just men, because this is part of whiteness too. This is part of these oppressive systems. The same way that like the billionaire, we are just chess pieces to them. But it drives me crazy how we all have to experience this on a personal level, because even if you don't marry men, date men, fork men, or have anything to do with them, you probably still, if you are a woman raised under women and femmes under patriarchy, you're still probably having to orbit around, tiptoe around, default to, or do a whole lot of unpaid emotional labor and all cognitive labor and all kinds of stuff because of your brother who can't get his crap together and always gets in trouble and you have to go clean up his mess. Or your dad who didn't take care of himself and now he is suffering and it's hard to watch him suffer. Or your son who's been enabled by all the people at school and society has taught him to be entitled and he's never going to move out of your basement. Or your friend or your coworker. It drives me crazy just seeing that this stuff starts so early. Not just snapping our bra straps in school and just the violence of just trying to be on vacation and enjoy swimming. You can't rest and relax because one of these forkers, because he's now physically stronger than you. Because the teenage years is when these boys start getting huge. They eat like 30,000 calories a day. I know I used to feed them when I was leading them in the outdoors. I couldn't believe how much they food they consume, and also how not thoughtful they are around it, and literally will just eat everything and not think they have to share. But the fact that they have these enormous bodies, like they grow into these enormous bodies in their teenage years, and now like the only difference with girls and the boys, the teenagers, in terms of safety, physical safety, is one is huge and can physically lift her up and throw her in the pool. She can't do the same. She's got, if you know, like, not saying that girls don't bully, absolutely bully. Girls are ruthless because that's how we're taught under patriarchy, to screw each other over or use, you know, like spy tactic, emotional violence to compete in this system. It made me so mad watching these guys save the very girls that they humiliated 2 seconds ago. Oh, here, I'll help you out of the pool. Here, let me give you a hand. And, you know, honestly, a lot of this goes back to religion. I believe it was Cecilia Regina who's the one who, the first video I saw on this, I know that lots of people talk about this, when I started, you know, connecting the dots, thanks to her, about, well, of course, because of, like, God, that he's out there, like, unaliving his own children. Like, people have to prove to him. What kind of mean person? I don't want to worship someone like that. If you are someone who is raising boys, you need to teach them right out of the gate. Just the violence, but like the ape gray. I'm going to start using pig Latin. The ape gray culture of throwing girls in the pool. They are not consenting to that. You're literally forcing them to go swimming. Now maybe they've spent, maybe their makeup's going to, some of them literally are at the age where, you know, maybe some of them have a pad and not tampon. Maybe some of them know they're going to have to spend hours on their hair and makeup now because you just ruined it. Like the way that women and girls and femmes enter the pool is a very personal thing. I'm the kind of person who just dives right in because I don't do my hair and I don't wear makeup. And that's also a privilege to not do that stuff. Also, I'm a tomboy and I like don't know how to do that stuff, so I just kind of fully lean into it and don't care. But when I see other like I air dry my hair, but other women spend so much time on their hair just to literally get their hair wet is screwing them over so much. And these guys will just throw them in, put them in their place, humiliate them. It's also taking money out of their pocket, money and time and energy. For what? A laugh? So men's jokes are almost never funny to me because so much of the time it is literally about poking fun of, humiliating, humbling, basically just bullying. Which is why I don't find most men funny. And that's why if men are playing pranks on you, do not date them. Don't even be friends with them. Like, if they do it once, you'd be like, put the smack down, and if they do it again, that man sees you as a little toy, a little paper ball that a cat is just going to push around to do something. And you know what? I hate to even draw the analogy between cats and men because I actually really respect cats now, especially because I swear I admire cats. I wish I could be more like them. It's all just for fun and amusement because they need to have control and power. If they're fully buying into what patriarchy has taught them about their value, about domination, about hierarchy, about a lack of empathy or care for other people, a lack of general respect, care, and love for other people. Because when you are raised to hate yourself and you are dehumanizing yourself on a regular basis, you're going to do that to other people too. So again, and as a white woman, if I am being very violent towards myself, there's a good chance that I'm also not a safe person out in the world because of my proximity to power. There's jokes are funny. I've been a comedian for a long time, but bullying, humbling, and just humiliating spectacle for a little laugh, it is so violent and it starts so early. Anyway, we did make it in the United States okay through customs. I have so much to say. Follow me over on Patreon if you want to see more of my personal journeys. I haven't been home in 4 years, and taking a French man through my culture and answering the many questions that he had is very eye-opening. I have to explain a lot of things where I'm like, yeah, I don't know why we do that. I mean, I know why, but like, yikes. And thank you, Patreon people, for without y'all, I would never be able to continue doing this job and definitely not ever go on vacation. So thank you, Patreon people. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, all that stuff. It helps get my work into the algorithm. Let me know what you think. boat restaurant. No comment song today, really, but some cute photos and stuff from a trip so far. Follow me on Patreon to see more. Everyone